everybody, I'm Quinn.
I'm Scott, and it's time for the Almost Friday Show for May 5th, 2011.
Starting it off and off the press, we've got 2 reviews for you today. Two reviews.
Not 4.
4.
Yeah.
Just
Thor,
yes.
which Dave had the pleasure of seeing last night early.
Yep. And Sean will also be bringing you his review of Portal 2.
Yes, sir. Dave bringing us a comic from the gutters, Jinx, the Essential Collection. Some Brian Michael Bendis for you, so stay tuned for that.
In Tech Insight, we're taking a look at the new iMacs because, well, they updated stuff again.
And we like to cover Apple, apparently, even though I'm...
It just gets
Yeah,
us all
I
the
don't know.
views, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
Just put Apple in that tagline.
Yeah. Then we're going to lab. Sean's got some mad science for you. He's telling us about the longest ever contraption to hold. That went really badly. It's actually not very long, but it holds antimatter for a long time.
Which is, you know, there was long involved.
Yes.
And that's the important
of
part.
time.
Yeah.
Antimatter.
In Behind the Lens, I went on location and checked out the launch event for Manfrotto's new bag and apparel line. So bringing some footage from that event. Without further ado, it's time for Off the Press.
Hi everyone, welcome to Off the Press. This week we're missing our best wee tiniest small Asian.
Yep.
We all know her as Sam.
Yep.
She's off in New York gallivanting with the upper crust and well anyway, so it's going to be me and Sean doing this week. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We're opening everything with a review of Thor. I was lucky enough to see it last night on a preview pass.
I've been very excited because at work we're like constantly rolling the damn trailer. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's out now. I want to see it. So,
Tell me some of your concerns about the movie.
okay, first off, 3D.
Not necessary.
Good. Okay, that's out of the way. Stop doing it unless you're James Cameron or the other guy doing the.
I understand why they're doing it. Again, there's a huge media push on it,
Yeah.
and it's an industry push, not. I wouldn't say
Creative.
there's a demand for it either creatively or socially.
Yeah.
The consumer market is not
I
going
know.
insane
It's
for 3D.
Either way. My other concern, I guess, Anthony Hopkins. How was
Amazing.
he as Odin?
He was great.
Okay, good.
He was Anthony Hopkins, and now he was. Bear in mind, he was Anthony Hopkins, directed by Kenneth Branagh, and classically trained actor, classically trained
Director.
director. So
It worked out probably
it worked
really
out.
well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of my concerns were Asgard.
Okay.
I thought Asgard was going to look really ridiculous, ostentatious, and then as I'm watching it, I'm like, Asgard, home of the gods. It's supposed to be ostentatious. Okay.
So it actually looked pretty decent then and all that?
It looked really good. I am going to see it again. I will not be seeing it again in 3D, though. I'm going to see it again in 2D. There are some neat things. Keep your eyes open. I would recommend it to everybody. This is not just a comic book reader crowd, just like the rest of the Marvel Studios
I was
stuff.
gonna say, so it's like Iron Man was, you know, you could, if you've never even read Iron Man, you can go in and enjoy it.
Yeah. Good movie. When early-ish in the movie, they enter the weapons locker for the gods. These are the tools. What destroy things. Do not use them for whatever. Like if God's got to keep them locked up, you got to think they're probably pretty important. There's something that I spotted. I think it was the Eye of Agamotto. For people who read Doctor Strange or some of the Avengers books now, you might know what that is. Yeah. That's what I think it was. I could totally be wrong, though.
Well, they do like putting those little Easter eggs into these Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they love doing it. And the fans love it, too. The comic book reader group is just like, woo! Apparently, I've heard this. I haven't been able to substantiate it, even after having seen the movie. Apparently, the Infinity Gauntlet is there, which, again...
Way over my head.
But for all the comic book people out there, the Infinity Gauntlet is apparently in the locker, but I didn't see it. And it's sort of like one of those things where it's like, I've got this gauntlet, and it's got these gems on it, and I can make anything happen.
Cool.
So
where can I get one?
Dr. Miller.
All right. What about the effects?
I got
Like,
a
how'd
good
it go?
price for you. The effects were really good. What I didn't see, and this is what had me a little concerned, one of the things that had me concerned, Thor flying looked really good.
Okay.
They had a lot of the effects that they had in the comics where he spins the hammer and it's this like blur. You can't even tell the hammer. It's just this.
So there's the
disc of-
helicopter thing.
He does that.
Okay.
And it looked really good.
Okay.
Because I thought it was going to look ridiculous. He does a few other things. I won't name them all off because, why see the movie if I name them all off? Really good movie. My favorite part of the movie, though, and there were a lot of neat things in it, but my favorite part of the movie was Darcy. That would be Thor's mortal girlfriend's friend.
Okay.
Who was played by the girl from the Infinite Playlist. Which was really... Anyway, she was funny. She was really funny. She was the Iron Man humor portion of it.
Okay.
And it was well done, I thought. Anyway, what do I give this movie? My expectations, and I tried so hard to keep them low, but they ended up being quite high. It was a little more than satisfactory. That's why I'm going to see it again so that I can go in and just sort of relax and enjoy it.
That's pretty good, then.
All right.
I'm excited. I do want to see it, though.
Yeah, I give it a B+. I give the movie a B+. Moving on. Portal 2.
Yeah,
Sean's been going on about this
for 2 weeks now.
almost ad nauseum.
Yes. For all of you who've probably already seen this, you've probably already played the game. You already know most of the memes because the entire game became a better meme than the cake is a lie because it actually has context behind it. If I talk to you about burning lemons, you probably know what I'm talking about. But beyond that, so it's already an instant meme as soon as it came out. They were trying to do that. Like Valve's intention was, we already have an augmented reality game based around the launch. They did that, and now they've actually released it. It's in the wild. It's fun. And yeah, we're a couple weeks late in doing this, but we're not alone. So the whole thing is, though, if you played Portal 1 and you liked it, you will like this game. However, do not go looking at Portal 2 as a...
Could I play Portal 2 without playing Portal 1?
You could.
Would
You'd be a little bit fuzzy
would
on
I
the
enjoy it
context.
as much, though?
Probably not. You need to kind of know what the context is.
Okay.
You need to know... You don't know why you're there, why you're in the testing facility. You never do find out. You do figure out, if you've been paying attention to all their pre-launch crap, you do figure out why your character, Chell, has been chosen as the first test subject. But beyond that, you don't really know much.
Well, okay. Now, see, that strikes me as being a bit of a failure.
Yeah,
I would
because-
want to learn more, and I would think that other than making money, obviously, but to make it a sequel, I would want to learn more about
the
mysteries
facilities, which they actually do. So they don't give you enough context at the beginning. So here's the thing: you have to play the game. The first one, there was no story. Well, there was story, but very little. It was a puzzle game that shoehorned a story in real quick, and it worked.
Okay.
It didn't need much. It was a short game. It didn't overstay its welcome. Portal 2 doesn't overstay its welcome. It's much longer. It's actually about twice the length.
Wow.
You can beat it in about the same amount of time you can beat the first game, but that's flying through. That's not trying to find anything creative.
Okay.
They've added co-op, which,
Yeah.
here's the thing. If you're going to do co-op, do it with friends. Because you can match randomly on the net. It is a pain in the butt. They try to make it easier because they give you these ping tools so you can say, hey, put a portal there, and then put another one there so I can get out of this situation.
It's funny because there are some games, like Left 4 Dead, where being matched up with strangers actually added to the flavor of the game.
It did.
Whereas with this one, it's
a little more difficult.
Okay, so you need a buddy.
Yeah, you can get some people who are really good, of course, who can sit there and they'll be patient with you. You've never played co-op. They send you right back to the beginning. You could have finished it, but they'll send you right back. And that's to give you a feel of how the dynamics work.
Okay.
Because it's not like in single player where it's like, oh, I need to get over to that ledge. Boom, boom, I'm up in that ledge. It's now, I need to get to that ledge, but it's behind a force field that I can't put a portal through. And I can't walk through it or else my portal's closed. So I need a partner on that side. Yeah, it gets that bad.
Wow.
It gets so complex. You do need someone else, but you need someone who's going to do it seriously, but have fun.
Okay.
You can't have someone who's a total hard ass and trying to get you to solve
Or
these
if
things.
you are a hard ass, find another hard ass.
Exactly. That is pretty much it.
Cool. What do you give it? What stars, lightning bolts, whatever? I don't know what you give movies and stuff.
I don't do it.
Oh,
Buy the
that's
game.
right, Mr. Rebellious.
Yeah, buy the damn game.
It's a
Seriously.
yes/no option. It's,
Yeah. I mean, you can find all the information you need from the first one. It's on the web. So all you need to know is one character, two character.
Okay.
You'll get the idea.
Yeah.
You know, this character killed that one. Pick it up from there.
Neat.
All the other crap you'll find, of course, throughout the web. The backstory you can find even throughout the game. Like you go into Aperture Science's past, and you get to meet Cave Johnson, the CEO from way back when, over his head now, and he's hilarious. Voiced by J.K. Simmons, by the way. Very good, very well done.
He did a really good job on the ads.
You did.
He's done a pretty good job on everything.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on. So, buy it.
Buy it.
Moving on, we have this week's new releases, Thor. I would recommend this movie. Go for it. Do it. All right, we also have Something Borrowed, or rom-com.
Don't know it.
Um,
I don't pay attention, at least.
yeah.
I don't like romantic comedies. They all suck.
Anyway, okay.
But DVD and Blu-ray, we got The Green Hornet,
Oh.
which, fun movie.
Which the Seth Rogen was on Mythbusters.
Yep, Seth Rogen did a Mythbuster
It was
special. with him.
neat. You could sort of see, it was kind of funny because you could tell that Seth was there to promote the movie, and that he had something invested in it because he had written the movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. And it was like,
He's coming up with creative ways of explaining the myth
Yeah.
away.
All
The
right,
next one is
games.
The Dilemma.
Oh, The Dilemma.
I don't know it.
Neither do
I heard of it. Didn't really go into it. So,
Yeah.
those are what's out. So, kind of useless
Well,
at that.
games. Dun, 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 Thor!
More
God
Thor.
of Thunder.
So,
That should be okay. Whatever.
yeah. I'll
Actually, I've heard a couple people who have been talking about it, some pre-release stuff, and they were like, "It's a good game, solid game."
all right.
And I'm like, "How do we even know about that?" Forget it.
Yeah, just don't think about it. The next one is Motorstorm
Apocalypse. It's the third installation on the Motorstorm
Series,
game
eh?
thing. Yeah. So the first two have gotten decent enough reviews.
I was gonna say they've gotten pretty good, and then
This one,
hopefully we get a review. Maybe we
We'll
can
see.
find it. It could be fun.
yeah, we'll see. Anyway, that is it this week off the press. Hi everyone, welcome to From the Gutters. I'm reviewing this week Jinx. This has been out of print for ages. Finally back in print. And it's funny because like we ordered a whole metric ton of them and well, roughly a metric ton, Canadian measurements. Anyway, really good book. It is written and illustrated by Brian Michael Bendis. And it is a really, really long book. Review of the story, I don't really even know what to say about it. Because Jinx, the book that the person that this book is titled after, is a bounty hunter, and she's going off to find this one guy, and it ends up to be this big mess up, and there's this whole pile of money that hey they could get their hands on. It'd be really great, but there's of course a whole bunch of problems in trying to get their hands on that money. It's Brian Michael Bendis. The thing about this book is it's so deeply Brian Michael Bendis. This is like Bendis kind of without an editor. It's really good, great dialogue, and the story is almost incidental, quite frankly. If you like Brian Michael Bendis' writing, if you like his dialogue like I do, I'm just a total whore for his dialogue. If you like that, this book is amazing. Price point is $24.99 US. I would say it's worth every penny. You're getting $25 worth of experience out of this book, I would say. Bendis' illustration is horrible. Well, not horrible. No, it's horrible. It's bad. It's really bad. But I would say it's totally, again, based solely on the writing, totally worthwhile. So, that's really all I have to say about that this week. I don't want to say any more about the story or anything like that because I don't want to get you expecting something that isn't going to show up. But it's good, really good. I give this book an A-. I want to give it more. Part of me wants to give it less, but I think an A- is fair. If you have any comments on this, you can go into the show notes and say, find our contact stuff and say, Dave, you suck, or Dave, I want to shake your hand, or can't think of what else a person would want to do, really. Give me some dressing tips, that would be great. Because plaid is great. I have so much of it, though. Anyway, if you guys want to get in contact with me, find our contact info and give a recommendation for a book that you want me to review, or comment on some of my other reviews. That's it this week. I'm Dave from the Gutters.
Hey everybody, welcome to Tech Insight. We're kicking it off with some new iMac news.
Yeah, Apple kind of quietly released their new iMacs this week. They look exactly the same, so don't get excited if you wanted.
Which I was kind of disappointed about. I wanted them to refresh the look because I was getting bored.
Be more
really.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't a very exciting announcement, people, unless you were about to buy an iMac and now yours is better.
Or you've got a really large hard-on for Thunderbolt.
Yes. So it's still a 2127. Prices have stayed about the same. The only difference is you're starting at an i5 now, as to before. Some of them still had Core 2s, and so you can't get the i5 in quad core, which is nice. And of course, you can upgrade to i7s. Although what was interesting is even the top of the line 27-inch is not an i7 default. You have to pay
Interesting.
up, which I thought was. It's the quad core i5, which is a really good processor, but I thought they'd throw in an i7 kind of standard on the top of the line, but
Yeah.
they didn't, so there you go. Bump in the graphics, nothing too exciting. They're still running on a kind of mobile-ish card because of the size. You can get solid-state drives in there now, I believe.
Yeah, I think 256 gigs.
Yeah, I think so. And it's a reasonable price for Apple for an upgrade, so that might be something to look at if you want Snappier OS. And Thunderbolt, which was the big thing. So if you buy the 21, you get one port. If you buy the 27, you get two ports,
Which is cool because
Yeah.
from what I've read, a port can support up to 6 devices.
Yeah, well, it depends on what the device is.
Yeah, but it can support 6 Thunderbolt devices.
Yeah.
So you can have up to 12 Thunderbolt devices.
Yeah, and the really cool thing about the 27-inch is because of the new graphics card they're packing and the two Thunderbolt ports, you can have two 30-inch cinema displays and your 27-inch iMac.
And the graphics card's pretty decent in the
It's not bad,
27-inch. And if you get a solid-state drive, the other thing is that if you get a 27-inch, the LCD that they give you is actually
It's
quite
quite good,
good. So I think if you're looking for a video editing computer, especially with Final Cut 10 coming out soon, the 27-inch would be a good option because you've got Thunderbolt, which will give you some really fast
Scratch space if you need it.
yeah, if you want to run a Thunderbolt RAID setup or something, and then you go solid state for internal for really quick speed, and then you get a pretty decent card for editing and a really nice screen.
Yeah.
So
No, it's a good package.
I kind of want to buy a 27-inch for video editing for no apparent reason other than it's pretty.
Yeah, well, the Mac Pro is kind of becoming a why do I need this almost.
Yeah.
Not quite, but we're getting there. So that's not too exciting, but if you were looking at an iMac, they got just a little bit better without getting more expensive, so that's always good. Next up, a little more Apple news. AT&T has kind of come out and said, hey guys, no iPhone this summer, which is not terribly surprising with everything that's happening.
Most people have expected it to.
Yeah, well, everything's happening in Japan. So there's going to be big delays on electronics to begin with, on top of the fact that they don't really need to release a new iPhone.
No.
The 4 is still selling like crazy. They just released the white 4 last week.
Yep.
So it's not like they need to. And on top of that, when they have been releasing them like late June, early July, that's a weird time to release anything.
Yeah.
Nobody releases stuff midsummer because people aren't into buying things midsummer. They're on vacation.
Except, of course, if
kids.
it's an Apple product, in which case people
Well,
line up.
exactly. But, from
They
the
carve
rest
out that
of,
niche of being the one thing everyone lines
yeah,
up for in the summer.
but the rest of consumer space is like, why are you doing that?
Well,
So,
it's interesting because on one hand, I applaud the idea of them saying our phones shouldn't have to be recycled every year. Like, this phone should be better than just a year's worth of a phone. Yeah. On the other hand, I always want to see what's new, so I'm kind of disappointed there isn't going to be a new one purely because I want to see what they change.
Well, and there's no news on whether there could be one later in the year, maybe like an early holiday season release.
Yeah.
Which is a little strange for an iPhone, but who knows, maybe Apple will whip one out, because there have been leaks about possible designs and camera chips and that kind of thing. So we'll keep you up to date. But AT&T did say in this release that as soon as they know about a new iPhone, they'll release the information, which is kind of interesting. So
which means that they'll probably just
get told last.
Yeah. But it does kind of prove a point that especially with Android, there's a huge amount of saturation of the Android headset market, and if you look at Apple as an example, you don't need to have 6 million options and still sell a lot of phones.
No,
So,
and they've been doing the good thing about getting rid of an option every time they release a new one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, right now you can only get the 3GS and the 4.
Yeah.
And I think they both probably sell pretty well. So there's nothing wrong with the iPhone 4. I haven't had a single performance problem or anything, and I don't want anything else. When I had my 3G, I wanted something more by this point in its life
Yeah,
cycle.
and I was in the same boat. I mean, we had conversations about. I said, I want wireless end, and I want it to just be a little bit faster and a better camera, and then I'm happy. And they delivered on all that stuff. So I mean, yeah, they'll come out with something new, and there'll be the geeky part of me is just gonna go, yeah, I want it. But ultimately, I don't feel the need to replace my iPhone 4, barring it stops working.
Which could be bad for Apple because if people stop upgrading, they lose money. But
well, it's true. But
there's still those core people who will upgrade no matter what Apple makes. So
and then there's the consumer level that we just like to upgrade all the time because we like to upgrade all the time for no good reason.
So we'll let you know if we do hear anything else about the new iPhone coming out.
Intel news looks like they're bringing 3D to the CPU. Now I don't know what that means. So explain
well,
this to me.
okay, so I don't get the full gist either of it. It gets very technical at the kind of the very very base level of how computers work.
Okay.
So basically, they're calling them 3D transistors.
Okay.
Now, basically, transistors are what make up your CPU. There's like hundreds and thousands of them on the CPU. So what they're saying is with this 3D model of the transistor. Now, they weren't 2D. They had to have had thickness before. So, it's not like this. I think it's a more of how it's designed kind of thing electronically.
Yeah.
So with these 3D transistors, they're saying basically we can use less, get more performance, drive power consumption down. So you're getting, and more efficient use of space. So they're expecting to be able to get chips smaller, that are faster, that are more efficient, and therefore use less power with this new thing.
Which is
it's
a
a
whole
check.
other thing for mobile computing for sure.
Well, it's a check in every column, right?
Yeah.
I mean, usually you have to sacrifice somewhere. You go less power, you lose speed,
Yeah.
or you lose efficiency. While they're saying with this new base level technology, we should be able to get everything. So I mean, you're still looking maybe a year to 18 months, 2 years before you start seeing chips with this stuff. But Intel's pretty excited about it, and they've been pushing a lot of innovation in every space lately.
It's true.
I mean, they're dominating the server space, they're dominating the laptops, they're dominating desktops, they're dominating mobile.
And they're coming up with things like Thunderbolt and this 3D chipset and stuff like that.
So I'm pretty excited to see more things coming out from Intel, but that should be cool because basically we were coming to this point where CPUs couldn't be faster, like Moore's Law wasn't going to hold anymore, and Intel's kind of like, yes it will, because we're doing this. So should be cool. We should be seeing some really quick, really low power processors come into, iPads and things like that soon enough.
Cool. In BlackBerry news, BlackBerry's decided to join Microsoft and use Bing as a default search engine.
Yeah, which I thought was weird. I guess I don't. Nothing wrong with Bing. Bing's in my.
I still don't like the results I get from Bing.
I switched to it when it came out.
Yeah.
And I used it for 4 or 5 months. I didn't notice difference.
Okay.
In stuff, I mean, everyone searches for different things usually and things like that. But there was no reason to switch to it. I don't know if there's money exchanging hands there. Maybe. Maybe BlackBerry just wanted to have one more thing that differentiated them from Android or something like that. But it's a big BlackBerry conference on right now, and they've had nothing cool to talk about.
That's true.
Unfortunately for them, because they really needed something.
Yeah.
So yeah, all on the new BlackBerry OS 7, which is really OS 6.5. But they're calling it OS 7 because it's coming out with a new version of the BlackBerries. That's going to have so Bing for Maps, and again, pretty much the same as Google Maps. Bing for default search. So interesting move by BlackBerry. Not a bad move, but I don't think it's that exciting.
You'll probably get a lot of people switching it back to Google just because.
I don't think that many people will, because it's that extra step that you have to notice.
I suppose.
You have to go, why aren't I getting this search result? I should switch.
Yeah.
Most people just go search, okay, I can click through kind of thing. Especially on mobile because the branding's so small. On PC you notice, but on mobile it's a little word at the top. So we'll see. They also released some new announced some new BlackBerries. They got the Bold Touch, which I think is the dumbest thing ever. If you're going to do a touch BlackBerry, listen, the Bold Touch, stupid. The Torch, cool form factor, make that better instead of releasing this Bold Touch garbage.
Yeah, because when your touchscreen is like 1.5 inches big.
Yeah, I get it.
Accomplish anything.
People like the keyboard. I like hard keyboards. When I had my BlackBerry, I typed way better than I do any time on my iPhone. But I can't, no one's going to touch a screen this big. That's why no one likes the stupid new iPod Nano things. Get it together. Rick. I don't know.
CRTC has come out and said that they want to help Canadians get bandwidth everywhere.
Yeah, so the FCC in the States has a similar program. They said, by a date, everyone should have 4 megabits down. That should be, the bandwidth. No one should have access to that. Okay. So no matter where you are in the country, you should have access to that. So the CRTC came out this week and said, everyone in the country should have access to 5 megabits down, 1 megabit up, which is worthy of saying because a lot of DSLs don't have that until the higher
Yeah, I only
tiers.
get like 600.
Yeah, I have 1 up, but I'm on Roger's second highest tier.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, and they say this should be available by 2015. And the reason this is so interesting is because Canada's enormous, and not very many people live in the enormity part of it, but some people do.
Yeah, so if CRTC is saying that they want to have everyone have that, that means there has to be lines going out to that place that no one can access for an hour in every direction.
Yeah, and not just any kind of lines. I mean, likely fiber.
Yeah.
You know, or high quality copper going out there. And the CRTC is not at this point. It's not a law. It's just their new policy, and basically they're not going to be giving out money to, because if it's a law, like everyone needs to have phone access. That's a law in Canada.
Okay.
So they have to pay Bell to help Bell. Like not all of it, but they pay Bell subsidies to help them wire out to, like, you know, I'm living in a farm in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
They're not doing that for this yet. It's not a law yet. Like in I guess Finland, it's a legal right to have access to 1 megabit internet.
Interesting.
But in Canada, they're just kind of pushing it. So this is a good thing. We want broadband penetration, and I think almost all the parties had this in their election platform, although the Conservatives, who are now our government, didn't stress it as much, which worries me a little. But should be interesting, but they said, no, we're just going to have market demand push it for now. So I'm a little worried about that, because if I'm Bell or Rogers, no,
yeah, I don't
not
care.
feeling it. And 5 megabits wireless on that grand a scale is not going to happen. A lot of rural areas are served by wireless in Canada, but you're talking 1 megabit tops, maybe 2 if you're lucky.
Yeah.
5's a big jump from there for that kind of technology. So we'll see what happens. You know, 2015, we'll let you know. There probably won't be there. I wouldn't be surprised if they start offering subsidies to Bell and say, you know what, just go run some fiber, here's some money. That might be what it needs to happen.
All right, and that wraps up Tech Insight for this week.
It's kind of alive.
Nah, it's still dead.
Oh. Hi everyone, and welcome to Mad Science for this week. We're kicking it off with some interesting news, once again, coming out of CERN.
Yeah, they're doing crazy stuff these days. I don't even know that they were doing other things. You know,
Yeah.
people forget because they have the whole collider thing going on, but they got a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah, their big question right now, and I'm serious about this. Does antimatter fall up or down in presence of gravity? Does it fall towards the body, or does it get repelled away?
I'm not really sure.
Exactly.
But we got a step closer to finding out.
Yep.
They managed to contain a decent amount,
309, I believe.
yeah, of antihydrogen
Yep.
for 16 whole minutes. Now that's by far breaks the previous record.
Previous record was 36 atoms for 175 milliseconds.
Yeah,
So no time at all.
Not only is it way more, but it's also for way longer.
Like,
So
the goal is that they want to capture enough of the gas that they can cool it and bring it. Well, first off, they had to cool it down. I can't remember the
probably
temperature.
pretty cold.
Yeah, really
our
cold.
cryogenic technology is not that, but cold.
Yeah, and they want to bring it down even further because they want to try and condense it. So if it can condense and if it falls, it reacts to gravity normally. Or if it goes, then
Well, so that's the thing, because these are antihydrogen particles, and hydrogen's
lighter
very,
than
very
air.
light.
So it
you
already
can't-
goes up.
Yeah, you can't find out if it's going to sink or not. So, yeah, that'll be interesting, because hydrogen condenses at a very low temperature.
Mhm.
I want to say 40 Kelvin.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
If I
40,
remember you
50
telling me
Kelvin,
that one.
something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and you don't really want to compress anti-anything, I don't think. a lot.
The only way that it can be done is using their new. You remember? I'm gonna have to reference this movie, but the electromagnetic bottle from Angels and Demons. Yeah, they kind of made it now.
Well, you got to, right? It's
Yeah.
got to be held somewhere where it's not touching anything.
The only problem is, with the way things are going, it's not so much that it's annihilating because of it touching the actual surface. I believe it's just annihilating because it's in the presence.
Well, yeah, it decomposes after.
Exactly.
A while,
It's just
so.
it just falls apart.
But progress is being made in leaps and bounds, apparently. I know
Yeah.
16 minutes would sound like a lot, but from milliseconds to that,
Yeah.
it's a big change.
That's huge. The next thing, still dealing with physics, long time ago, more than 50 years, Einstein released the theory of relativity onto the world, which changed everything.
Pretty much.
Newtonian physics kind of got tossed out the window.
Which was a shame. Newton did proud, you know.
He did, and he had a very elegant view of the universe.
But Einstein got a little more detailed.
Yep.
If you're not totally familiar with it, what we're going to talk about today is essentially space-time fabric, and he's trying to explain away gravity.
Yeah.
Which is the whole idea of relativity. You know.
Why do bodies fall toward larger bodies?
Yeah. So he said, if you got put out a cloth,
Mhm.
put earth in a ball in the cloth's going to sag right
Mhm.
to where the ball is. So if you have something else, it'll follow the cloth.
Mhm.
That's his kind of visualization. It's a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah, this is very simple.
But that's a way I find it's good to think about it.
Mhm.
So basically, they've proven this effect.
Yes, they actually launched a space probe many years ago, before we even put a human into orbit. It's called the Gravity Probe 1, looking for geodietic or dietetic effects. That is, does the Earth create this bowling effect in the fabric of space-time? Does it even exist? And they found that it does. Matter of fact, any body that has mass, a large amount of mass, well, any body actually, in space will deform space-time. So we've now shown Einstein was right. There is a fabric to the universe.
Yeah.
And this opens up all sorts of things, because before it was the theory of relativity, certain areas of it were still theoretical. Speed of light and time being different in all areas.
Well, when Einstein brought it out, literally everything was theoretical. Right? I
Exactly.
mean, he had some minor things, but a lot of it was just, I think this is how it works.
Yep.
And he's got a remarkable amount of it correct.
Yes. I think the saying goes, as a physicist, astrophysicist, you spend all your life trying to prove Einstein wrong, and then eventually, if you can prove Einstein wrong, everyone's going to try and prove you right.
Yeah.
Is how it goes, or something along those lines. So we have not done it yet. Relativity was kind of got shaky a couple months back. Actually, they were kind of starting to break it down. It's holding strong again because they finally got this data, and it's looking pretty interesting.
So it's cool. We're slowly bringing it together. That theory of everything ever elusive is slowly coming into our grasp.
Yeah, and the LHC, like we mentioned last week, had record-breaking luminosity levels.
Yes.
So the particle collisions have gotten better. So we could soon see, hopefully, that Higgs boson that they're looking for.
Yes.
So
They're actually doing things with this collider, which is good, because all the other ones you didn't see a lot of results from.
Yeah, they kind of just wanted to see if they could move particles.
So it's kind of cool that they went, let's go big, and then it successfully went big, which is kind of nice.
The whole notion of go big or go home, and they're not going home.
No. So good news out of CERN.
Yeah. The last story of this week, once again, keeping within energy and physics. No robots this week. I did find a good one. That'll be next week, or whenever we do our episode next. So fusion. I mean, the whole idea of fusion energy has been around forever, and it gets in the spotlight when somebody comes out and says, "I can do it at room temperature," and then it gets washed out. It turns into a hoax.
I think we've talked about it a few times on the show where someone published a paper there
on fusion
and said, "Haha, we've solved the fusion." No, they didn't.
Matter of fact, you can fuse things. Can you do it for a sustained amount of time and create any kind of energy, more energy than you put in, or equal amounts? No. However, the Canadian company General Fusion, basically a division of General Electric or
Promising
General
title.
Dynamics and all that, they got a huge infusion of money.
Yeah.
From Jeff Bezos, who is the I guess CEO of Amazon. That's huge. As a matter of fact, it was $195 million.
And he just kind of, here you go.
Yeah. So apparently, General Fusion came out with an idea and a plan that they put forth, or they kind of sprung into the world and said, "We think we have it. We can't really tell you if we have it yet, but here's a basic idea," and they left it at that.
Well, it's tough because they want to get patents later. Because
Exactly.
if they do solve it, they're going to make piles and piles and piles of money. But
Yeah.
they also want to get money now so they can solve it. So, they got to play that act.
And the thing is, they may have proven it to a very, very wealthy person to say, we have a great idea. And so far, it's working. The basic idea, very simplified, going to bring it to you just basically right from Pop's side directly. They really broke this down to its basics, and thank God. So they're using a magnetic field they're using a very intense magnetic field, and they're going to take lithium, and they're actually going to tear it apart into hydrogen and tritium, mix it with, and then fuse it with deuterium, and get helium. When that happens, you get energy, lots of energy, as a matter of fact. It's not been done successfully. However, they seem to have actually cracked the code somewhere along the lines, what it seems like, because this huge infusion of money has got this theory it got this ball rolling. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens here, because the whole point of fusion is you don't have waste.
It can solve a lot of our energy problems.
Yeah,
You don't have to use things like uranium and plutonium that degrade and then continue to degrade really slowly forever.
This creates helium.
Yeah, which we need more of, by the way, running out. So it would solve that, and it would also extremely green kind of power for all you alternative energy people. So
Absolutely.
watch fusion closely. I think it's still probably like 75 years off from.
Actually, the way General Fusion's looking at it, they're still saying they could have a basic prototype that could actually run and create some amount of energy in the next 4 years.
And then you've got 70 years after that to actually get it up to scale.
And also, get it into the power grid and get all those government contracts.
It'll take
and all
time,
that.
but it's promising.
It is very promising. So, 3 physics stories. No robots, like I said. Hopefully, we'll have something cool for you next time in the way of robotics for all you enthusiasts out there. But otherwise, that wraps it up for Science This Week.
Hey everybody, welcome behind the lens this week. First up, we've got a news story. Technicolor has released CineStyle for Canon cameras.
Yes.
Good, bad, ugly?
Well, we talked about Technicolor announcing that they were going to do something for the Canon cameras, and what they've done is they've created a new color style profile called CineStyle. And what this is up until now, Canon users have been setting their color profile to what people have been calling a super flat image, which is negative contrast, a little bit of negative saturation, negative sharpness, that kind of stuff, to try and make it as flat an image as possible. Because the trick to proper video is that you don't want it to look fantastic coming out of the camera, because you can't do as much with it when you want to edit and change what it looks like. But everything professionally is color corrected. No one just goes, this looks good, let's move with it. And there's always work done to it. So what you want to do is you want to shoot as flat as possible, because that's going to get you the most information in both your highlights and your shadows, so that when you are color correcting, you don't suddenly start having blotchiness from shadows that don't exist and highlights that don't exist. So this CineStyle is really helping to optimize that. So what happens is you download it, you use the EOS utility that comes with your camera, and you load the CineStyle profile into your camera. And it's making a noticeable difference in the amount of dynamic range that's recorded for video. And most of the guys in the professional world that shoot with Canons professionally have been saying it's sort of the greatest thing to come to these Canons since Canon gave 24p, which is a big thing to say, because it is pushing these cameras and renewing the life in a lot of these cameras, because people were starting to see that things like the AF100 and Red and stuff were getting better dynamic range, and now these Canons are doing even better at color than they were before. And on top of that, Technicolor went a little bit farther, and they provided a LUT, or an LUT file, which stands for lookup table, and it's something that's used in color correction for a reference file that you apply to the clip afterwards. It says, okay, now that we've recorded as much information as possible, we're going to apply a color curve to it, which is going to bring back remove it from being flat and bring back the pop to it, but maintain as much information as possible, because you're doing this in post. So they provided that as well. So it is a full system that they've built now into these Canon cameras.
Is this something Technicolor would do in partnership with Canon, or did they kind of just go, look, Canon cameras really need this, and developed it?
Well, I think it's something that I think they worked with Canon on it, obviously. I think I don't know whether Canon approached them to do it, or whether Technicolor was like, hey, we should do it. So,
are you going to see this in, if I buy a new Canon camera maybe next year, am I going to have it already?
Have it by default? You might, but that's to be determined. So at this point, it's a download. But the thing is, it has come out after all of Canon. Canon doesn't have a new camera yet. So if Canon does announce a new camera in the fall or something, I would assume something like the 5D Mark III would probably have this by default. Just because people are going to use that camera to shoot video, guaranteed. So it is cool, and if you do have I've seen some of the results from it, and it is really awesome. So if you do have a Canon camera, I highly recommend you shoot video with it, obviously. I highly recommend downloading the CineStyle profile and shooting your video with that. So I went on location this week I went out to Toronto. Manfrotto invited us to check out their launch event for their new bag and apparel lineup. So Manfrotto, as up until now, mostly been doing support products, so things like tripods, monopods, lighting, all that kind of gear. And they haven't ever made bags outside of tripod bags. They really haven't made any bags or vests or things like that. So we were all kind of surprised to see a company like Manfrotto jumping into it, because really they don't need to.
I think they do pretty well. They corner things like tripod markets. And,
Absolutely.
They make a lot of different kind of video heads and ball heads and things like that. But it's a good market to jump into because it's getting bigger, as, people start doing more video on the go and things like that. So I think it kind of might be good for them to carry the brand over there. They've got brand recognition.
Well, and what was interesting is Manfrotto approached this the right way, and instead of making super professional bags, they made more stylish bags. So when you look at their new lineup of gear, it's very Italian inspired. It's the kind of stuff that you would expect someone who's driving, an Aprilia or a Moto Guzzi motorcycle to have one of these backpacks on, and someone who's wearing a leather jacket to have one of these shoulder bags on. They're really good-looking stuff. And even their vest system, which allows you to put bodies and lenses in it, when it's closed down, not holding gear, it's a good-looking piece of gear. Like, you could just wear it as a jacket and not feel like, oh, I'm wearing my photography jacket. It just, you did some zippers up, and now you can have the pockets to hold your photography gear. So they did a pretty cool job. And we'll show you some footage from the event.
So Manfrotto has decided to go into bag designs because they felt like this was an area that hadn't been touched before. Really, they're going towards more of the social recorder. So the person who's tweeting, the soccer mom who's taking pictures of her kids and posting it to Twitter and Facebook, and this is a new area that nobody has touched. It's stylish bags. They're Italian design. They're cool bags. Like, my friends see them and they're like, I want to get one of these bags. And you can put your laptop in it, take it to school, take it to work, and it's discreet and it doesn't look like it's a camera bag. I think everybody's looking for style, so a lot of people too have been saying, I don't want everybody to know that I'm carrying a camera and I'm carrying this expensive equipment. So Manfrotto's like, okay, we'll give you a stylish bag. You can carry it around. You can put your wallet in it. You can put an extra T-shirt in it, whatever you need, and also carry your equipment in it. Carry your camera and your tripod. Some of my favorite pieces are the Unica messenger bags. You can put your laptop in there, and it just looks like a nice messenger bag, but still has a spot for your lens and your camera, and it also holds a tripod at the bottom, so it's awesome. You can expect to see these in stores by May 2011. And moving on, we're adding more to the stores, and hopefully everybody likes them and purchase them.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
All right, so that was a Manfrotto launch event. We were excited to be there, and look forward to seeing these bags in the near future. We might hopefully get a chance to have some of these on set, so we can show you the bags in person, because they are pretty cool. So yeah, that brings us to the end of Behind the Lens this week.
And that wraps up the show for this week. Thank you for watching. If you want to contact us, you want the stuff you want us to review or talk about on the show, you can always email us at contact@almostfridayshow.com.
Or you can follow us on Twitter at @almost_Friday. Feel free, if you are a manufacturer of any kind of gear, to invite us to launch events. We'd like to be there.
We'd love to go.
We'd like to check out your gear and hopefully also review it on the show. So if you would like us to review any of your products, please hit us up on either of those contact options.
Now, be aware, we're not going to have a show next week. We are going on location with the whole crew. We're going down again to the Henry's Photo and Digital Imaging Show in Mississauga. So watch our page for some content from there. But there won't be a regularly scheduled episode.
We're going to be doing a live show this time around, so we will have some scheduled times, and we will post some information on the website here to let you know when you can expect to watch us over the weekend.
Sure.
So until, I guess, 2 weeks from now, have a good time.